4. Then we have the rational numbers. Multiply the Sphinx's vector by 2, and we get 10,800. The grid latitude at the center of Mississippi's 670-foot-long Emerald Mound. Multiplied by 4, 21,600. The grid latitude of Stonehenge. By 5, 27,000. The grid latitude of Germany's Golo Circle. By 6, 32,400. Grid latitude of the eye on the face at Poverty Point. And by 24, 129,000 exactly, or the square of 360. The grid longitude of North Bimini's 500-foot-long Shark Mound. See, that wasn't so difficult. It's just a matter of knowing the language, consulting maps, and following directions. Their directions. Something else to think about here. As the Sphinx is now known to date back at least to 7,000 years before Christ, and probably a lot further, what about Flora's Panther Mound, whose vector in the matrix, 30 pi, is an exact match to the azimuth of the Sphinx? And its 4 paws show us the grid latitude of the Khephren Pyramid. To me, that says it loudly. Same age. In which case, even Khephen's pyramid isn't Khephen's. But it wouldn't be fair to assert something like that. What I will assert, since I can prove it, is that the matrix plan is at least as ancient as the Sphinx. On that, there is no further question, because the only way this finding can be effectively challenged is to remove such things as the Khephren Pyramid, Panther Mound, Emerald, Poverty Point, Golo, and the others from the face of the earth, in order that they no longer address our maps, and of course the mathematical guidance they provide. And even if we somehow manage to obliterate all of these monuments, don't laugh, we've wrecked hundreds of them already, and burned all of our maps, the matrix would survive anyway, because there are some things in it we cannot get our hands on just yet. Let's go back to the Great Pyramid for a few moments. I want to show you something. Here we are running the Great Pyramid's data once again. The first half of the equation is identical to the one I demonstrated when the figure 365.020081 popped out. In that one, the final part of the expression required the use of the number 360. This time I'll drop the 360 and replace it with these two multiples of double pi, which the Great Pyramid has already explained to us. This time it shows 9929.184896. What is it? Well, it isn't the solar year this time. It encodes the grid latitude of another large formation. A gigantic 5-sided monster at 40 degrees 52 minutes 04.773 seconds north latitude. Why is this one safe from any potential destruction? Because it's not here. It's over on Mars. At a place called Cydonia. At grid latitude 9929.184896. Now what's this Martian formation doing locked in on our terrestrial matrix system, as if the planners at Giza knew about it? No, this is no joke. When the Viking photos were found showing this region of Mars, Richard Hoagland, with the help of Errol Turin of the U.S. Defense Mapping Agency, laid out a precise grid for the site. And this is where this 1.6-mile-long monster pyramid, called the D&M Pyramid, just happens to center itself. Richard and Errol were already convinced that the D&M was an intelligently rendered formation several years before I ever saw their Cydonia grid, and long before they ever knew about my research. But if the D&M was intelligently rendered, who did it? There's nobody home over on Mars today, at least that's what we're told. The first question that crossed my mind when I saw the Hoagland-Turin grid was if it was intelligently made, and being 2/3 of a mile high as it is, might it have once marked a prime meridian on Mars, like our Great Pyramid did over here? D&M's latitude rolls right off the Martian equator, but its longitude failed the matrix. But then its prime meridian is arbitrary, based on nothing in particular, like our own Greenwich. So I decided to move it over and center it on the D&M, just out of curiosity. With the D&M now being at longitude 360 degrees, its vector would be 27.58106. Hold that thought. About 10 miles north-northeast of the D&M is the so-called face, which has won so much attention around the world. Tricks of light and shadow, the scientists tell us. But Richard Hoagland's argument for Cydonia comes from Errol Turin's computations of the angles on the D&M pyramid, where he sees the tetrahedron in evidence. The tetrahedron is a three-cornered pyramid, and in Richard's presentation on Cydonia, he explains the importance of the tetrahedron in spherical physics, that being, that for some unknown reason, if we place a tetrahedron inside a sphere, its corners, at its base, will always strike the outer surface of the sphere at about 19.5 degrees north or south of the equator. And that it is at these latitudes where energies appear to manifest themselves on all planets in our solar system. The so-called storms on Jupiter follow a latitude of 19.5 degrees. The volcanoes that have been cooking off in Hawaii for the past dozen years are also at 19.5 degrees north of the equator. The 5-mile-high Olympus Mons, an inactive volcano on Mars, locates at 19.5 degrees. It's all quite real. Natural energies appear to focus themselves at this latitude on the spinning bodies of the solar system. Well, I'm not an astronomer or physicist, but I am familiar with the tetrahedron. Each side of the tetrahedron contains 3 60-degree corners. In all 4 surfaces, we have a grand total of 720 degrees. In the language of the matrix, the tetrahedron is 720. Well, activity on the surface of planets seems to indicate that nature knows about the tetrahedron. I'll give her that. But does she know about other mathematical constants? Like maybe double pi, the 3D form of Giza's Great Pyramid? 720 and double pi. The result divides down through 41 degrees and 11 minutes to wind up at 10.0308 seconds. And guess what's there? The face. Okay, back to the drawing board. If nature shaped this humanoid face on Mars from double pi in the tetrahedron, then she must have built our Great Pyramid as well. She's a builder as well as a thinker. Man, that'll do a job on prevailing thought. Okay, let's see how sharp she really is. The matrix employs a lot of constants that we're not used to seeing. Let's try a tough one on her, like the square root of 2160. The grid latitude of Sidonia's face, square root of 2160. How about that? The